A strange force has entered the galaxy. It could only mean one thing.
Greetings, Captain.
The vacation is over. Now the crew of the Enterprise
Enterprise, are you ready?
is taking you where no one has gone before.
You know we'll never make it through the Great Barrier.
Warp speed now.
Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Rated PG. Starts Friday, June 9th at theaters everywhere.
Star Trek V, the film that many Trek fans rank as the second worst of the original series cast films, some even considering it worse than the motion picture. While Star Trek V certainly has its fair share of flaws,
what the hell is even that?
And suffered from inadequate funding, including special effects inferior to previous Trek films, The Final Frontier, I argue, is often underrated and underappreciated, even among the most dedicated Star Trek fans. I want to present to you why I think this film deserves more love and appreciation. Of course, these arguments and thoughts are only that of myself, so please comment if you agree, disagree, or want to elaborate on them. Just please be respectful. Now, let's start.
Warp speed now.
First, a little on the backstory of how this film came to be. Star Trek V: The Final Frontier was released in North America on June 9, 1989, part of that summer's blockbuster season. Of the 6 original series cast films, half were released during the summer, those being 2, 3, and 5, the other half, parts 1, 4, and 6, released in November or December. With the previous 3 Trek films leading up to 5 being deemed successful by Paramount, especially 2 and 4, and a demand for more Star Trek culminating in a new TV show that was posed to enter into a 3rd season, the expectations and anticipation for Star Trek V were grand. I remember seeing a lot of promotional material for The Final Frontier, from an inflatable plastic Enterprise hanging in the local bookstore to TV ads, even articles in many mainstream magazines and newspapers. I was 13 years old at the time this film was released, and I was already quite the Trek fan then. In fact, throughout my childhood and into my college years, new Star Trek films and TV shows were being produced so often, the expectation was we would be getting new Trek content at least every couple of years. It was a wonderful time to be a Star Trek fan.
Nerd!
With Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home being the highest grossing Star Trek film to date and attracting many non-Trek moviegoers, it seemed like 5 would be an almost guaranteed success. Leonard Nimoy, who had directed 3 and 4, stepped down as director, allowing William Shatner to accompany the director's chair, his first time for a feature film. Shatner had directed a few episodes of T.J. Hooker, but directing TV and feature films are very different endeavors. Shatner apparently ended up as director due to a favored nations clause in his contract that stated whatever Nimoy was offered, Shatner should also receive. While Shatner now states he regrets directing Star Trek V, stating that compromising with the studio about the plot of the film was what doomed it from the beginning, I think Shatner did far better than some other actors turned directors. Of course, Shatner's original story pitch was about Kirk confronting a space evangelist who had amassed a colossal following, including all of Kirk's crew, even Spock and McCoy. The evangelist would, like in the film, overtake the Enterprise and take it to a planet where he claims God resides, only for God to be revealed as Satan himself. Kirk then rescues his friends out of hell and I guess dropkicks Lucifer into oblivion. Boy, Shatner's supposed God complex isn't blatantly obvious in that, huh? Hallelujah. While Shatner may think sticking to his original story would have improved the film, I think what we got in the final product works better. Shatner did not face just the problem of having to compromise on the story for the script. He faced many obstacles during pre-production, such as not securing the screenwriters he desired, including Star Trek II's director and co-writer Nicholas Meyer, and a writer's strike in Hollywood was happening at that time. Harve Bennett, who cameos in the film as Starfleet's Chief of Staff, was very reluctant to return to another Star Trek film, but was convinced by Shatner after several hours of persuading. Even then, Bennett often disagreed with Shatner, compounded by the fact that Gene Roddenberry, The very creator of Star Trek seemed to disagree with many of Shatner's decisions as well. Of course, Roddenberry seemed to dislike much about the 6 Trek films he was alive to see being produced, so there's that. Despite these and many other issues such as Industrial Light and Magic, the special effects division of Lucasfilm, being unable to handle the special effects work on this film due to their commitment to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and Ghostbusters 2. Many of these and other production obstacles and letdowns are often cited as why Star Trek V is a bad film, but such limitations should not destine a film to be as such. As Orson Welles once stated, the enemy of art is the absence of limitations. I won't make much of an effort, therefore, to promote this film as being superior to some of its counterparts, as I do feel the film deserves much of the criticism it does receive.
What the hell is even that?
I want to instead make a case as to why I really appreciate having this film as part of the Star Trek film franchise and genuinely enjoy watching it. We all have films that we regard as bad, and some of those films have spectacular and memorable scenes in them. One of the big reasons I love Star Trek V is because for a quote bad unquote film, it has many memorable, superbly executed scenes. Instead of going over a synopsis of the film as most reviews do, I would like to simply focus on a few of the scenes that make me adore this film. Before we do so, I admit that the best films excel at both including such scenes, as well as uniting them with compelling stories and characters, something Star Trek V could have done much better.